Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
See us.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's not how it's. There we go. All right. We're back. Look. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a little bright. There's still some things I have to work on, but I got a new setup, so we're trying it out. It's 2025, man. Yeah. Can you believe that?
No.
It's nuts. It's like I swear it's like time just like picked up. It genuinely feels like it.
As I'm getting older, time's going faster.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Like there's all kinds of theories out there about like, timeline manipulation and CERN and how we're on these different timelines.
The ended in 2012.
Yeah, there's tons of different theories, right? But that's what they are, theories. But the one thing everybody can agree on is that 2024 was a buck wild year.
It was.
All kinds of crazy crap happened in 2024. So what we figured we'd do, Shawn has a list of the top 10 events that the media covered or that happened, right?
Yep.
And in general, mainstream media covered it, right?
Yeah.
Ish.
But it was big enough that I think even
everybody covered it. Yeah. And I've done the same. I have actually 2 lists, but I figure a lot of what you're covering is probably going to be in it. So I picked 2 so that I could pull the alternative media, alternative reporting, I should say, viewpoint and lists. All right. So, all right, we'll get started.
Number 10.
Yeah. Start at number 10. What would you say is the 10th most mind-blowing event that happened in 2024?
When Israel rigged the pagers to explode across Lebanon.
You know what, man? That's on the list. That is on the list.
It was a multi-year operation. I was read the New York Times.
Okay.
It wasn't. They've been waiting to use that for like 5 to 10 years.
Oh, I bet they've been sitting on that just in case. Yeah, that whole, you know what? Like, it sucks, dude. Like, regardless whether it was this group or that group, people lost their lives. It's unfortunate. I'm not okaying anything that's going on over there. That said, it had to be terrifying for the people around.
Yeah, and that the problem is that they didn't just hit Hezbollah fighters, which they were trying to do.
Right.
They were hitting civilians as well.
Yeah. Imagine the setup and preparation that went into this. I mean, there is so much logistics and planning involved.
And Assad tricked Hezbollah. It was a whole operation where they basically tricked them into buying the equipment that they had to buy. So it was like a whole big.
Yeah, it was this big, like it was deep, man. Like I said, they did a lot with this. This is not a small operation. This was huge. Go ahead.
Should I do 9?
Yeah.
All right. The 9th one is when Biden pardoned Hunter Biden after saying he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's break this down. Okay. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If I was president and my child, ended up in trouble with the law, and I had the power with a pen to keep him out of prison, I do it. I mean, I just do it. Unless my son's like, a cannibal killer, something just what? But like regular crimes where, people aren't dying kind of thing.
I think the biggest problem people had with it was that he said he wasn't going to.
There it is. Yeah. I don't know why at the beginning. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why he wouldn't just be like, oh, yeah. If this goes through.
It would have been better for him.
It really would have, just to be straight up. I'll tell you, though, it's not even Biden I'm mad at with this whole thing. It's not Hunter. It's not Joe. It's the media clowns, the talking heads who are perfectly okay with being lied to and promised, no, this isn't going to happen. And then when it happens, they explain it away. You know, it's perfectly okay to them because it wasn't Trump. Now, had Trump done that,
all hell would have.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Okay. But we've seen the difference in the narrative between the way they cover Biden / the left and the way they cover Trump / the right. The mainstream media is not kind. So.
All right. The 8th one is when the Iran president, Raisi, died in a plane crash.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was in 24. I was just thinking, I was like, man, when did that happen?
I want to say that happened in June, I want to say.
Okay.
I think it happened in June.
That sounds about right.
But it was a big deal because the Ayatollah was prepping him to be
to take over.
Ayatollah.
Yeah, I remember you had a lot of information about that. We did do a show on it.
We did.
And we talked about the potential fallout. So, do you know, is there a new successor? Has he picked anybody? No.
Not that we know of. He might have, and the media just
hasn't talked about it. Interesting. Okay. All right.
The next one is President Biden pardoned 39 people and commutes 1,500 people.
Yeah. Did you see some of the pardons?
Yeah. Some of the people were sick people.
We're not going to go through and talk about the pardons, at least not in this episode. But look it up, guys. Seriously, look at who was pardoned. Some of them, a handful of them. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, a president at the end of their especially, that's it for him. He's done. And I can see the political favors because that's what it's about at the end. It's okay. I'm going to do this for these guys. But if you look at some of the sickos that were just, you're fine. Go.
Yeah. Some people that murdered in cold blood.
In cold blood, not like, defending themselves, crap like that. We're talking about sick individuals.
And I think the death penalty should be not used a lot, but it should be still an option, I think.
I'm with you, man. I'm just saying. Not every, that's the thing. Not every capital case is a death penalty case. However, in extreme circumstances, this individual absolutely, it's very, very clear. In my opinion, because there's such a thing as those who cannot be rehabilitated. They can never be, they're functionally broken.
And also, I don't think it should take like 15 to 20 years.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah. These people, there are people in ISP that have been on death row for 30 years, man. It's nuts.
The last one, they just executed somebody last month, and I think he was on death row for like 25, 26 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 25 plus years he was there.
They should have all their appeals and everything. Should take time, but it shouldn't be 15 to 20 years.
Well, that's the thing, right? There are those people that are like, well, they shouldn't even get appeals. No, they absolutely should, because there are innocent people on death row. The Innocence Project has shown it, right? Those guys that go and do DNA on these old cases, absolutely, there are innocent people.
It's the thing to watch for 2025 is going to be the Scott Peterson case. You remember Scott Peterson?
I do. Refresh the viewers, though.
Who was convicted of killing his unborn child and his wife.
Lacey, right? Lacey Peterson and Scott Peterson. Yeah. So basically the entire case hinges around him being in a boat in the lake around the time they think her body was dumped. Ish. Very ish. There's little to no, at least my analysis of the case. I have not gone into nearly as deep as some people have. But my quick review of the case, there's very little actual evidence against him. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I don't know. What I'm saying is, if you look at the actual evidence in the case itself, there's very little physical evidence tying him to the crime.
I think he has a hearing sometime this month.
Yeah. And I'd be interested in doing a little deeper dive on that case because I do think that people are too focused on the name and who he is versus the facts around the case, and more importantly, how it could affect us if we ever found ourselves in a situation like that. Which is why I like to look at Supreme Court cases, especially to see what's the precedent here. How is this going to be moving forward? How does it affect us, we the people? So,
all right, the number 6 one is President Biden announces that he's not going to seek a second term, even though he really still wanted to.
Right. Yeah. So that whole Biden stepping down, stepping aside, and then that whole thing is just one thing after another of what? Huh? Yeah. Oh my God.
He still believes that he would have beat Trump.
Oh, of course he does.
He would have lost worse than Kamala.
I think so too. Yeah. But who knows, right? We don't know.
That's a scary thought.
It's a terrifying thought. But hey, he clutched it. He pulled through it. All right.
All right. Number 5 is President Biden gives Maduro Pfizer immunity from lawsuits.
Yeah. He extended the the block of the liability, the immunity, the immunity, basically. There's a word that I can't think of right now, but basically extended the ability for them to continue doing whatever they want, and they're completely immune to being sued.
And the frustrating thing is most people probably don't even know that happened because our media really ignored that. It's
awful.
It was international media that I heard.
Yeah. You don't hear it on, New York Times or any of that. Anyway,
it was from the Daily Mail.
Daily Mail reports on they have some out there articles, but they report on a lot of current happenings that a lot of places aren't touching, which is very interesting.
Number 4 is WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange finally freed from prison.
They let him out. Finally let him out.
I thought it was time.
Dude, way beyond time. Like in my opinion, he shouldn't even be in prison.
Yeah.
Now, were there some like classified issues at play? Absolutely. And maybe there's something that, could be done about that, maybe. But the CIA wanted to kill him.
Uh-huh.
Like Mike Pompeo wanted to kill him.
And I count him as kind of like Edward Snowden, like letting the American people know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I have a little different opinion of Assange versus Snowden.
I do too.
Not, good or bad, just slightly different, right? I have a more, I guess, positive, for lack of a better term, more positive association with Assange than I do Snowden.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think it's really comes down to the quantity of materials WikiLeaks published. It's like I'm still looking through all the stuff on WikiLeaks, dude, from 2016.
That's funny. That's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. The only really, really bad published thing that I'm aware of that WikiLeaks is in trouble for, that Julian Assange is in trouble for, was that Snowden, who basically released the identities of the CIA agents?
That was Assange.
Okay, that was Assange. Yeah,
Snowden
that's the one.
Basically, to tell us that the government spied.
Yeah, that whole NSA thing, and how the NSA basically goes through all of our electronic communications and GPS, and he's still hunkered down there, isn't he? Yeah.
We'll see if Trump does anything.
I'm interested to see how Trump handles a lot of things, but that's going to be some wild ass episodes.
Yes, it will. Number 3 is when Trump got shot at the Pennsylvania rally.
Okay, so you view that as 3, huh? Interesting. All right. So first, I think we all know by now the attempted assassination, right? We're not going to rehash that.
Yeah.
But why 3?
Because I thought the other two. Should I say what my other two are?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Number two, my brother and I actually disagree. We've had debates about my second and first pick.
Okay.
My second one is, I think it's bigger that Trump won the election.
Okay.
That's
So
my number two.
all right.
My number one is Assad is overthrown and flies to Russia.
In Turkey. Yeah,
My brother
or
thinks it should be-
Syria. Sorry.
Right.
Assad from
yeah.
Syria,
Yeah.
and he's now in Russia. Yeah.
But my brother thinks that Trump winning a re-election should be number one.
Okay. Why did you put Assad number one versus?
It changes so many things in the world, in the Middle East.
Okay.
Because Turkey was invested in Assad, and Iran was helping Assad, and Russia, and now we don't. Assad has weapons that ISIS can get control of now, and there's a vacuum. We don't know who's going to take control.
Yeah, there's a power vacuum.
I think it's going to be a story for the next couple years to see where it lands.
Yeah, allegedly, there's a whole bunch like going on there as far as ISIS and
Al Qaeda.
Al Qaeda, and then is it the Houthis that are from Iran?
Yemen.
There's Yemen, Iraq. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening there. I can see the back and forth, about what's most important.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm going to run through mine real quick. Let's see. This one. Okay. So number 10, right? The tunnels under New York. Do you remember where they were talking about all these tunnels that were found in New York, and they found the dirty mattresses and all that stuff, right? I think it's important. I'm not sure if it's top 10. I'm not sure, because there's crazy. I don't know. That's pretty wild though. Had it been like, here's the thing, right? They found some tunnels, and yeah, there was some unauthorized digging going on for sure. Some other stuff happened, whatever. But there's never been a follow-up that I'm aware of that actually ties. We had a bunch of rumors, a bunch of pictures, and a bunch of people making assumptions. But as far as I'm aware, unless you know differently, they never were able to say this is part of a ring of some sort. This is involved in trafficking of any kind.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. That's what I think it is, but proof, what you think and what you can prove are two different things. All right, so number 9, Star Wars, Attack of the Drones, right? By the way, guys, this is at Mallard Reborn. This guy's got a pretty good list. I agreed with the majority of it. But Attack of the Drones brightened the night skies of the holiday season. And we were told all kinds of crazy stuff about who it was, right? Iran, rogue AI, military testing, a hunt for missing nukes. We heard that too.
Yeah.
The only thing we'll ever know for sure is that our government hates us and wants us scared and distracted.
Very true.
And I wholeheartedly believe in that.
And it kind of just disappeared.
Right.
We're not talking about it anymore.
Right. Where are the drones now? Where are the drones now? There was huge for a little bit, and now where to go? Of course, there are bigger things, right? Number 8.
Oh, yeah.
Boeing gone. It seems like there was another insane mechanical failure in a Boeing product every week, highlighting the growing third worldification of American infrastructure, courtesy of DEI. Honorable mention, the Key Bridge incident was part of the same trend.
And there was some weird circumstances that some people, whistleblowers for Boeing, mysteriously died.
The whole Boeing thing is nuts, dude. It is nuts. That guy that allegedly ended his own life. I don't know, dude. Like, there's some sketchy stuff. That's like the guys that, they find with a couple of bullet holes in them and they call it soup. Come on. All right. Number 7, this guy thinks RFK out of nowhere. A counter elite coalesced around Trump in the run-up to the election. with Bobby Kennedy Jr. offering his guns, falcons, and boxballing skills being the most exciting and meme-worthy elite ally.
I'm not sure if he's going to get through the confirmation process. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it is. It is, because really what it comes down to is how many allies does Trump have? Not even allies. How many senators / people in Congress are willing to back up Trump, knowing the army that's coming for them if they do? The army of angry, blue-haired, mostly, angry cat ladies. I mean, it's the reality, dude. Or anyway, I'm not even going to go. I was about to say something. I'm not going to do that. Stay focused.
But yeah, him and Tulsi Gabbard do not have an easy confirmation.
They do. Yeah, they do not have an easy road to confirmation. But I will tell you this: right now, we are about to weed out who's MAGA and who's not. You're either on board or your ass is gone. The American people have had enough. We're done. Number 6, hyperinflation hit the U.S. hard, putting American pedestrians, pets, and jobs at risk and becoming a rallying point for a nation sick to literal death of being the target of an intentional replacement campaign by its own traitorous ruling class.
And I think that's part of the reason why Trump won, was because of inflation.
Absolutely. And I think, as a matter of fact, I firmly believe that the state of the economy, inflation, etc., is the number one reason why voters went in.
Border was number 2.
Yeah. Yep. Economy, border, which are tied together.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it. So, yeah. Number 5, in for a penny, in for a poundling. Reincarnated Teutonic warrior king Daniel Penny saved a car of subway riders from a deranged scholar and was repaid with a show trial for his good deed. But, all right, let me see if I can. Vercingetorix redivivus, I don't know, beat the rap, signaling a seismic shift in the culture. And I think so too. I think the result of the trial is a more important, significant event than the fact that he was charged.
Agreed.
Like, it was bullshit that he was charged. But that's the justice system, especially in New York. Okay, fine. The fact that he won at trial as opposed to getting piled on and just, let's face it, man, they handpick these juries, right? They know how the system works. But he did it.
I was glad he was found innocent.
Me too. Number 4, Beau Biden. Yeah, after a disastrous debate performance, the media suddenly, in complete unison, it was wild how quickly it turned, wasn't it? The media saw what everyone else had seen for 3 years and finally turned on Biden. Within days, he was internally cooed and proceeded to subtly sabotage Kamala under cover of dementia. So this is not the first person who has posited this theory, right? The theory is that all of this dementia shit is acting. That he's doing it. The reason that he's doing it is that report that came out from I can't remember the guy's name, but the one that we did the show on, where the guy said, "Oh, he's too mentally frail to stand trial."
Oh yeah,
it starts with an H. The investigator.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now, but I think that was the whole point. If he's faking.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Number 3, related to you, interestingly, he also rates number 3. The Teflon Don escaped not 1, but 2 assassination attempts egged on by the left media apparatus and probably intentional security incompetencies. From the moment the bullet grazed his ear, it became undeniable that Trump was now a man of destiny.
I like that picture.
I do too. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's see if I can share this real quick. It's going to be weird, but let's see. I'm going to maximize this. There we go. Here, this picture right here, absolutely iconic now, ladies and gentlemen. This picture is epic. Regardless of everything else. Yep.
I knew it was going to be iconic.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely epic and iconic. It's wild. All right. Let's see here. The Appalachian Fall became one of the worst disasters in American history, compounded by the federal government's inept response and active efforts to sabotage private relief efforts. It was the final insult, the regime's last middle finger to heritage America before, number one, too big to rig, baby. Number one, despite all of the lies, lawfare, and murder attempts, the American people roundly rejected the regime and elected Donald J. Trump for the third time, with every single swing state going to him. Every freaking one. An incredible slate of cabinet and agency nominations soon followed. What an insane year when an attempted assassination attempt only makes it to third place. He says, I'm sure I missed a bunch too. So speaking of, I got one more list really quickly. This one believes, though, that the assassination attempt should be number one. I don't know. That's tough, dude. Because there's so much that happened in that year. I think third. Number two on this guy's list, and you know what? It's huge because it's a domino effect, was Cat Williams. Do you guys watch like the Club Shay and Cat Williams?
I've never heard of Cat Williams.
He's a hilarious comedian. He really is. He's like one of the top comics that if he had a show nearby, I would actually pay money to see him.
Okay.
Very few. I don't like going to places with lots of people and stuff like that. I would do that to see Cat Williams. But he went on this podcast called like Club Shay. This guy, I think he's a former football or something. I don't know, but it's very popular. It's a very popular podcast. Only like a couple of more subscribers than us. And, but it's huge, right? So he goes on there. Did you see or hear about any of this?
No.
Okay. Cat Williams absolutely dropped nukes left and right on Hollywood, calling out Diddy, calling out all these people before all this crap happened. He dropped some serious bombs on people, talking about how these various people have sold out and have done this, that, and the other. I highly recommend you watch like the whole thing.
Okay.
Seriously, it is like wild from start to finish. Number three, Diddy's arrest, dude. Diddy Combs arrested, plus the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Who can forget about that? The Baltimore Bridge, Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed after being hit by a ship. You know, something that can legitimately happen unintentionally and unironically. So if a single ship hitting this bridge caused it to fall, that's a problem with our infrastructure, period. Number 5 on this guy's list, the Kendrick Lamar, which, by the way, it is XTRYB at XTRYB_media. This is his list. I agree with a lot of it. The Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef in 2024, marked by intense diss tracks and personal allegations, set a combative tone in hip-hop, indirectly influencing other rappers like Chris Brown and Quavo to engage in their own high-profile conflicts. Billboard report that songs from the Kendrick Lamar v. Drake beef made over $15 million in revenue, which is why there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Not like us, 7.6 mil all the way down to Euphoria, 441K. There's graphics and stuff, but
I've heard of Drake. I've never heard of the other guy.
Kendrick Lamar. Okay. I don't like really get into that either, but I'm familiar with him because the wife like keeps track. She watches the TikToks where they talk about it, so she has to tell me all about it. Like I care, but anyway. But of course I care. My wife's telling me. Of course I pay attention. Right? I better. Yeah.
You'll be sleeping on the couch.
Right. Number 5. The Bangladesh Prime Minister resigning and running.
Oh, I totally missed this one.
See? Sheikh Hasina resigned amid massive protests over job quotas and governance issues leading to widespread violence. After resigning, she attempted to flee the country, but was reported to have plans to seek asylum and possibly run for office again from abroad, though this part remains speculative from available reports. That's a pretty big deal, man. The prime minister not only resigning, but trying to flee the country.
Yeah.
Interesting. Number 6, Kenya's protests over Ruto's tax. Mass protests in Kenya erupted over proposed tax hikes by President William Ruto. Speaking of tax hikes, Chicago, right? That whole thing that's something that is a lot more local to us. But the mayor there, when he ran, he swore he wasn't going to increase property taxes.
That's what he wants to do.
That's what he wants to do, right? But in Kenya, significant unrest, violence, and eventual withdrawal of the finance bill. His cabinet was later dissolved as a response to public outcry. Dissolving an entire cabinet is huge. That's a massive deal.
Getting all new people in his administration.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. Of course, number 7, Biden endorsing Harris. Number 8, do you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is?
Name sounds familiar.
I think he's a very famous soccer player, but he launched his YouTube channel, right? He set new records for the fastest channel growth, fastest channel to reach milestones like 1 million, 10 million, and 20 million subscribers, showcasing his influence beyond sports into digital media.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I had no idea he even did a YouTube channel, but apparently, hey, good for him, man. He's got a little catching up to do to get to our level of awesome. But anyway, number 9, escalation in the Israel-Gaza conflict led to widespread bombings and international concern. Yeah,
I think that war will be solved pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, and then the pagers, of course. Now this one I found interesting. It's getting beyond 10. But Elon, founder, we all know who Elon Musk is, has become the first person in history to reach a net worth of $400 billion with a B dollars. He is almost halfway through to $1 trillion. I
don't think he really cares about the money.
He doesn't. He lives simply, man. Have you seen how this guy lives? Like that's like Zuckerturd, right? He drives the little hatchback. That's it. They live very, very simply, which kind of infuriates me. I'm not gonna lie, because when you have trouble like buying all the groceries that you need for the week, you got I guess I could do without these frozen pizzas. You put stuff back. And then you see this guy, $400 billion. Wow. And growing.
Oh, yeah. That's big.
The fall of the Assad regime. The unaliving, the excommunication from life from the UHC CEO.
People who are celebrating that.
Oh yeah. So you know what? That's actually what I want to talk about very briefly. Okay. We're gonna wrap it up, I know. But I have dealt with the insurance system for many, many, many years. I was injured on the job when I was a truck driver, and I've been dealing with that for many, many years. I will be the first one to tell you that insurance companies are awful. They are awful, and they are predatory, and in many cases, they are outright evil. However, there is only one classification of individual that I personally celebrate removal from this planet, and that's pedophiles.
Yep.
You hurt a child, yep, in the street, right there, boom. Anything other than that, guys, we need a fair trial for these people. Absolutely, like there's some crazy stuff going on in the healthcare industry, and there are people making tons of money off of your pain and my pain. Absolutely. But we cannot turn into people who celebrate mob justice, vigilante justice, murdering of innocent people. I mean, did this guy make decisions that potentially cost people their lives? Maybe. I don't know. Right. And stop celebrating this shit, guys. Seriously. Our system is jacked. Absolutely. And it needs fixed. And hopefully RFK can get in on that, because he's a firm believer in fixing our healthcare system, getting rid of the poison in our foods, all that stuff. Don't celebrate this kind of thing. And this whole thing is sketchy AF anyway.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bitcoin reached $100,000 in 24. Dude. Yeah, we already mentioned that. The pardon. It's, by the way, 2024 is the biggest election year. It was the biggest election year in the history of the world. 40 countries had elections, which is 3.2 billion people, 41% of the population in that year.
NPR had an article that talked about this, and they were talking about how so many incumbents lost the elections. People are really sick with people who are incumbents.
Oh yeah, people are done.
Not just in America.
No, all over. They're flipping the governments all over the world. All right, we got like 5 more minutes.
All right.
Let's kind of, what are your thoughts overall about 2024 as far as our progress as a nation? Right? The election aside, because we've chosen, like, we know whether you love it or hate it, right? Donald Trump is taking office again. So we've got that trajectory. But everything else, right? Do you think that 2024 was a major step on a journey to a particular place? Or do you think it was just a hodgepodge of crazy stuff?
I think it was just a crazy year.
Okay. I believe that 2024 is truly, or was truly, the year of disclosure. Okay. Not just for UAPs or UAVs or whatever the hell they call them. Excuse me. What's that?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. You've got all this stuff.
That is true.
Diddy, Epstein, Hollywood. You've got these congressmen and these senators that are beholden to people and places that are not you and me.
Joe Biden.
Yeah. I mean, all of these compound and all of these come together. Look at the media apparatus, right, that was aligned against Trump and like basically rational thought. A lot. And a lot of people became aware of that in 2024, I'd say. Like a lot of people that formerly basically believed what they saw on the TV all the time.
I still know a few of them.
Yeah, they're still there, unfortunately. Yeah. But listen, though, this is the point, is if you really look at the stories. Now, New York Times, let's just take it. I'm not picking a specific. This is a for instance hypothetical thing, right? But New York Times reports on this particular crime, and this crime, and this crime, and this crime, right? They're doing their crime reports. consistently leaving out any race other than white, if the perpetrator, right? Consistently. There's a whole lot more, but that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the mainstream media and informing versus propagandizing the public.
And a lot of the media is propaganda.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to read
pure,
the lines.
pure propaganda at this point. It just is. You really do have to read between the lines. So one of the things that I think were it's going into 25 now, right? We're into 25. One of the most positive things I see moving forward is X, Twitter. Formerly Twitter, now X, not because I love it, because there's still issues. There's still things that really suck on it. But because at least we have someone saying, hey, say what you want.
So
right?
What do you think about Zuckerberg dismantling the
the fact checkers? Yeah. Zuckerberg got rid of the fact checkers, right? And is going to community nodes. Where did he get that idea? He literally even said, like X.
Elon Musk is leading the way.
Yeah, he really is, which is wild because I don't know if how familiar are you with Tesla and how they like set up? Because
not a lot.
They open sourced like all the charger stuff, all of their stuff is basically, here you go, they're patents. That's why all these other car companies use the Tesla socket.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like, look into it. Like a whole bunch of their stuff, they just gave away, copyrighted. Here you go. So that companies could get better at EVs.
Wow.
And yeah, that's why the whole, they wanted to take Elon's salary, bonus, and all this other. Dude, it is a wild year. It was a wild year.
We'll see what 2025 brings.
Yeah, I think it's going to bring a lot. I am. Okay, so let me ask you this, right? Last question, wrapping up.
All right.
Do you foresee any major issues between now and Inauguration Day?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I do. Absolutely.
I think they are going to try one more time to try to stop Trump. Yeah.
If you look, and this is it. If you just look at everything that's happening, right? And all the crazy stuff, like just since the election, they're desperate. They are absolutely desperate. They never expected, like they didn't expect him to win 2016.
No.
They were sure Hillary was going to carry it, right? 2020 is what it is. We're not going to talk about it right now. But 2024, they were blindsided. They absolutely had all their eggs in one basket with Kamala, whatever her freaking name is. And I think they were just like, oh no.
I think they knew they were in trouble.
Yeah.
And they're just preparing for 2028.
Could be. What I'm interested to see is what are the safeguards? What are the plans to fix America long term after this term? After these 4 years, what's happening? There has to be a plan, because you can fix all the stuff you want. Look how quick Biden fucked up this country.
Yeah.
You can fix all you want, but you get a dipshit in there with the deep state, controlling everything, and we're back to globalism. So, fingers crossed. I hope his picks get in there.
See what JD Vance
Yeah. He turned out impressing me. I ended up being a fan of JD.
I'll give him a chance. I'm going to see what he does when he's vice president.
Right. Exactly.
But he's the leading contender for 2028.
Sure.
For being the vice president.
Yeah. It makes sense. We'll have to see what happens, but we'll definitely be reporting on it. That's it for today. Shawn, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. 2025. Good to be back. As always, God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Good night.
Good night.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Shawn Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.